Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Chat, my weekly vlog series posted every Monday at lunchtime if you're in the UK. And I think this is a bit of an anniversary because I believe I started doing these Let's Chats roughly this time last year. The reason I remember is because I'm in very similar circumstances to the condition I was in when I recorded the first Let's Chat, because I was debating whether or not to do some kind of vlog series, and I was thinking, oh, it's a terrible idea, don't do it, why would you do this? And then I remember there was a stormy night, or maybe it was snow, and I was just running on very little sleep, and I thought, screw it, just record myself talking, listen to it back later, and if it sounds okay, upload it and see what people think. And I did, and that's where this Let's Chat series came from. So today, at roughly the same time of year, also apologies for my chair squeaking if you heard that, last night there was a snowstorm, and at one point during the snowstorm there was hailstones the size of your fist battering against my goddamn window, and I'm a very light sleeper, so I got about 2 hours sleep total last night, and even that was intermittent, so I'm knackered at the moment, as they say in Scotland, running on very little sleep. But I was thinking about this before recording. I was like, oh yeah, I started this series in a similar condition. I wasn't thinking straight, so that's why I did it, and I'm kind of glad I did, because it works as a good alternative to the podcasts I used to do, for people who are interested in hearing me talk about random shit for, 15, 20, 25 minutes per week. And as I know, some people listen to it during the lunch break if they're in the UK. So yeah, paralleled to that start, I'm not thinking straight at the moment. I'm running on very little sleep. Goddamn hailstones, and right now it is snowing sideways, as I said on Twitter. Isn't it fun that winter's here? I guess it is. So what are we going to do today? Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about Christmas plans, first of all, and what I have planned specifically for uploading. And then we also have questions on last week's Let's Chat to go through. And then I thought it might also be interesting if I go over, well, as I've mentioned before, I'm putting together my end of the year top 5 best and worst things I've played video. I've done it for the past 2 years, and this year is no different. Almost done. I actually have got the biggest part left to do, I guess, but everything else is done. I'll go into that in a second. I thought it might be a fun idea to go over some of the games that didn't make the cuts. Some of the games, rather, that didn't make the cut into any of my final lists. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So Christmas plans. As far as I'm aware, this will be the Let's Chat that's posted on this will be the 15th. The next Monday is the 22nd, and then the 29th. So my Let's Chats shouldn't be interrupted by Christmas or anything like that. They should still go up as normal. And my videos will still be going up daily as normal. So if you're still looking for entertainment, content to watch over the Christmas season, because maybe you don't support Christmas, maybe you're of a different religion, different beliefs, maybe you just want to escape from it, I will be providing the means by which to do that. There shouldn't be any interruptions. Even if I'm not personally at my PC, I upload in advance, so we should be fine. There will be stuff for you to watch. Specifically on Christmas Day, I have plans for a very long Rebirth related video. I haven't recorded it yet. I'm going to have to do that soon, but I'm waiting until my voice recovers a bit more, because it's still teetering. I'm considering going to the doctor about it, because I've had a sore throat for longer than I feel like is natural, but I don't know. But yeah, I've got something especially long planned for Christmas Day for people who want an escape from the season. So look forward to that if you're in that camp. And other than that, obviously got the top 5 best and worst, as I mentioned. I'll be looking to publish that around about that same week I was mentioning, actually, kind of just before Christmas, so that's the week beginning Monday the 22nd. I might skip Let's Chat if I do it on that date, I'm not sure. I've got all the gameplay footage recorded. I can actually reuse some from series I've done. I've got my bullet points ready for going over why each game is in the list. I just need to record the audio now. But yeah, the first thing I do when I'm making this video is I go to the wiki page for games released this year, and I write a huge list of games I played. It has to be games I've played. I've got a good pile and a bad pile, or a best and worst. And then I start shortlisting them. And obviously I take 5 away from each and they get into the video, however there's a lot left over. So I'm going to go over a few that didn't make the cut. We'll start with ones that I considered for being in the best list. So I'm not going to spoil what is in it, but some things that aren't in it that I did enjoy this year, that came out this year, include Jazzpunk, an indie game I covered. It's short, but it's in keeping with this kind of sense of humour that I love, the sense of humour that's in old spoof movies, old Leslie Nielsen type movies, Airplane and Naked Gun, that kind of stuff. It tickled me in the right places. Also Octodad, which I've been doing for patrons. I really loved that game, that was fantastic. They did some DLC episodes for free recently as well that I played through for, well, it's in the future for me when I'm recording this, but by the time you hear this, you'll have seen on Saturday I did the 2 bonus DLC episodes. Those were really, really good. Like, they weren't just tacked on, and they were free, and they have voice acting and everything else. Really enjoyable. I also considered Pokemon Omega Ruby. I did enjoy it, although I think that Pokemon X and Y are better. So that was very low on my list. But I was going by purely how much time it ate to my normal day. I sat and played Pokemon non-stop almost, so that must mean it was good. That was the basis for that. I also considered Battle Block Theatre. I like the sense of humour that game has. I love its music, and its gameplay was pretty good too. Wasn't quite good enough in the gameplay mechanic, I feel, so that's why that kind of got dropped off the best list. As far as the worst list, I always find it harder to fill the worst list because for the most part I avoid bad games pretty well. So it's always the harder list to find stuff for, so I can't honestly mention too many things because they made the list. I have 3 things in the list that didn't make the top 5. So if I was doing top 10s, I would have struggled because I couldn't find 10 things I've played this year that I didn't like. But anyway, the ones that were considered and were left on the cutting room floor: Mario Kart 8, didn't enjoy it. I loved the way it looked, but other than that, meh. Civilization Beyond Earth, I like it, however it's the game I most enjoy that I could never recommend for a whole bunch of reasons that I think I went over in my Let's Look At, so I'm not going to repeat myself here. And a very niche one, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z. It was a crappy Dragon Ball game. A lot of them have been crappy lately, but that one especially has been pretty bad. It was worse than the one that was essentially just rock, paper, scissors in my opinion, which was Ultimate Tenkaichi, I think. So that's all that was on the cutting room floor for the worst list, and with that I'll get my top secret notes away from here until I record the audio for the ones that actually are making the list, so look out for that video. So that's covered my plans for Christmas, specifically the cutting room floor, best and worst. And now we'll go to the comments in last week's Let's Chat, and we'll go over those, and then that'll probably be it for the entirety of this. So let's go to the earliest comment and see what happens. DRC97 pointed out that the Cheshire Cat Studios he pointed out to me last time is a YouTube channel. I looked into it and I have actually seen some of their content. It's essentially podcasting, but they have one or more artists that then also animate what they're talking about, which is a very nice setup and it's entertaining from what I've seen. Sharon Singhania also said it's very good, so yeah, I agree. From what I've seen, I haven't seen a lot of their content, but from what I've seen, yes, they are good. Stormkiller72. Ooh, your comment has 3 thumbs up, so this must be a good one. One of the things that I enjoy about your channel is the interaction within the community, or your community rather. Both the way you interact with us and the way we do with each other as viewers. It's a friendly place to be, but I guess that can only happen with a smaller community. Well, yeah, I guess so. I don't have much cash these days, but being a patron is more than worth it for me. Keep it up. Thank you. I will also thumb this comment up. Yeah, I think the smaller a community is, the easier it is to manage and interact with. I mean, if I had a channel 10 times the size of the one I've got now, would I be able to answer as many comments and whatnot as I do? I would certainly try, but whether or not I could, that's another whole thing altogether. Roy Anthony. Flik, if you haven't already played it, I think you would really enjoy Mountain Blade Warband. I believe CR has tried to get me to play that. I think he plays it. It's a great game and it's got a new expansion coming out December 11th. Oh, I'm recording this on the day it comes out. I think everyone would enjoy seeing a series on it. Vikings for the win. Also, more Dark Souls is always a good thing. No, I'm glad to hear it. Oh right, sorry about that. There have only been a second's break for you, but for me it was actually a few minutes. I had to go answer the door to get a parcel from the postman. Also, Maya was barking way too much. What was the last comment that I read out? I think it was Roy Anthony's, right, about Mountain Blade Warband, and he was the first of a few people to express interest in another Dark Souls 2 series, which is good. So let's move on. Jason Anino, your channel is the reason I got into watching YouTube. Also, when you told Maya, you did spell it wrong, it's M-Y-A, not M-I-Y-A. To go show your sister's dog who's boss. I imagined her in a boxing corner and you trying to give her a pep talk before fight. My dog does not need a pep talk. She can kick Kira's ass. Excuse me. That's my cold rearing its head again. Dragonakis, I have to admit I'm not a big fan of your videos anymore, Flik. I just stay because I have nowhere else to go. That's because you love Cha-Cha. No one can accept you. Krigo Mali, I would absolutely watch another Dark Souls 2 playthrough. Like a few others have said, I found out about you from watching the collab with Dodger. And once you started putting out Dark Souls 2 videos, I really got hooked on your channel. I think your love of the game comes through and you really know what seems like every nook and cranny of that world. Well, until they add new stuff into it, yeah, I do. If I have my vote, I'd say do it. Yeah, I mean, given how many people... You have to take, like... When you have a large audience, most of which is silent, you have to lend more weight to every person who does actually choose to say something, whether it's positive or negative. So that's why you might see some people who get maybe, you know, overly obsessed with one person saying, oh, I don't think that's a really good idea. It's because that person still represents more than just what they're saying, because there'll be other people who are silent and probably think the same thing, and you have to try and gauge how big that opinion is. So given that there's like 5 or 6 people here who've all said yes, more Dark Souls 2, I have to take that as meaning that quite a large pool, I don't know what kind of word to use here, a large amount of my viewership would be totally fine with a third Dark Souls 2 playthrough. There also hasn't been a single one that said, no, I think you've done too much. So I will probably be doing it. Rory says he's getting a PS4 for Christmas apparently, so he thinks he's going to buy the totally new version for PS4. I'd be fine with getting that as well. It gives me an excuse to use the damn thing. The only problem would be how I would record his audio if we were playing co-op. I'm not sure the Elgato picks up Skype if you're in a Skype call when using it. I don't think I've ever tried that, so I would have to test beforehand. Or if I was talking to him in game, would he hear me twice if I was also recording my mic, or would the Elgato pick me up twice? It'll be a recording setup that I've not used yet, so I'm going to need to look into what's viable, because I don't want to record my audio separately again, ideally, because that means I have to edit videos together. Quality gets lost if I do that, and also file size generally gets a lot higher. But I guess we'll see closer to the time. Moving on. 1979 Devil's Advocate, I'm really glad you're doing this War of Mine. You might have answered this, but have you thought about doing a series on Dead State that looks similar to State of Decay? I am very cautious of Dead State because it refuses to give out review codes to anyone. I haven't asked, but I've seen very little coverage. Its early access was actually just a demo, and from what I hear, it's not as feature rich as it should be, and it's apparently, you know, available to everybody version that's on Steam now. So I think it could be amazing if they work on it a bit more and add a bit more to it. It's a very good, interesting concept, kind of like an XCOM zombie apocalypse. That appeals to me as a concept a ton, but I think they need to work on it a bit more. And as for this War of Mine, yep, I enjoy it. Well, as much as you can enjoy a game about, you know, bleak suffering and survival. Excuse the phone, that's a text message. Oh good. It's spam from my phone company provider. Joy. It threw me off what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, this War of Mine, yes. I recorded the first 2 parts ahead of the rest of the series because I wanted to wait to see a little bit of feedback first. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff coming up. I'm trying to get through the game with my ethics intact. We'll see if that's the case by the end. Depending on how desperate for survival we get, I suppose. So, Metal Jackson, otherwise known as Matsamini, pointed out I didn't do a Patreon shout out for him. That's because it seems that if you change your Patreon pledge amount, it seems to default to wanting no reward. This happened with Dragonakis as well, so I will say thank you to Matsamuni and Dragonakis now. It was my bad, I didn't know that was a thing. I don't know why it's a thing, really, but I think it's sorted now. As Pennis, you must wear a Cha-Cha Halloween costume next October and go around your neighbourhood throwing potatoes at people, wahahaha. That would get me committed. But in all seriousness, I think another Dark Souls 2 playthrough is a splendid idea. When did you turn English? As I'll definitely be picking it up too. But which version are you picking it up on? Hopefully, however, I hope by then they'll give a discount for owning the game already. Yes, of course. Well, keep in mind, the only differences in the full new release are 6 people in a world instead of 4, and DirectX 11. That's the only 2 differences as far as I'm aware that's in the new re-release. The patch that's adding a bunch of new balance stuff is also adding slightly better graphics and all the new story elements for free, as I understand it anyway. They've done this in a very confusing fashion, but I think I've got that right. If I haven't, please tell me. I mean, I read their bloody press release and I'm not entirely sure. That's what I mean. I didn't read a website's coverage of the press release. I read the damn press release that they sent to everybody. Ultimate Kira 2, awesome with the Green Man Gaming thing, congrats on that. If you had a 40k channel... Oh right, no, I didn't see if I had a 40k channel. Well, if I did, I chose my words poorly. I do have a 40k channel, it's just I never update it. It's like once every 3 months I put something on it. I'm just saying that if my focus was different and I had the means, I think that is a niche market on YouTube where it's easier to make a name for yourself, assuming you produce quality content, as opposed to gaming. That's what I meant. Kuno K, in all capitals. Yes, another Dark Souls 2 playthrough would be fantastic. I agree, thank you. And then he said, keep it up. I will thumb your comment up. And last, someone new commenting, I think. Spherical Cube, I like your name. Your earlier Dark Souls 2 playthrough was the reason I started watching your channel, and another playthrough as a mage build would be great. Also belated congratulations on 30k subscribers. Thank you very much for the comment and for the congratulations. Yeah, I'm not sure which build I would do. It would definitely be either a mage just to see what they've done to sorcery since the original PS3 playthrough where I was a mage. Or I think the other option I would go with is what I would call the Maz build, if you're familiar with CR's brother. It's using greatsword, you know, two-handed, big, massive buster sword thing, with maybe a bit of pyromancy thrown in, just because I haven't done that on camera technically, because I only did the montage of killing all the bosses as that build. But I played through it off camera, so I know it works, or it did work. Who knows what's going to be happening in this big balance patch they're promising. They could totally ruin everything for all we know, because they don't seem very good at balancing. But anyway, that is the last comment. I apologise for the little break in the middle that kind of threw me off. I had to go answer the door and it took me too long because the postman was nattering, so I didn't want to, you know, leave silence in because I couldn't remember where I left off. So yes, this is going to conclude this Let's Chat. Thank you very much for listening this long. If you did, there'll be another one next Monday, and as I say, there will be content all over the holiday season, so if you are not interested in the holiday season for whatever reason, I've got you covered, especially on Christmas Day once I get around to recording that big video I had mentioned previously. So anyway, I shall see you next week. Ta-ta for now.